Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, undisputed proof that WWE is very evil.
WWE's future in Saudi Arabia has been revealed.
A clash between Tony Khan and a former talent has been revealed.
And you've got to hear about Will Ospreay's insane travel schedule. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
News. I can't really do his voice. Sorry about that.
It's just, that's what I do.
Mr. Housen. Paul Walter Housen. That should be a thing. Do that, lads.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, the first exclusive...
yeah, we got you in the title of the thumbnail, didn't we?
Yeah, clickbait. WWE is evil. WWE is very evil. Or it's about to be. And also very nice. Very nice, very evil.
Yes.
Because they're very interested in signing Danhausen and Private Party. Now, Private Party, they are not evil.
No.
But Danhausen's a very evil creature.
Indeed.
You have to watch out. Especially when he gets his big hat on.
We do not want this channel to be cursed.
Yeah, exactly. Please do not curse us, Danhausen. But this is an official report from Body Slam. It's Wrestling Mobs and Irish Wrestling of Body Slam. And they have learned that WWE has a major interest in both Danhausen and Private Party as their deals are believed to be up imminently. Sean Ross Sapp reported last month, of course, that I'm just reading the tweet basically, that Danhausen's contract was set to expire in July and WWE had held preliminary interest in Private Party. So, yeah, both expiring contracts. Interesting situations to analyse. Private Party are obviously day one, AEW, and they had the tag team title run last year. They've never really probably reached the heights I think a lot of people would have expected.
Especially after the start they had early on, yeah.
Yeah, they're very talented guys.
Absolutely.
I think they've probably stagnated a little bit in AEW. I actually think a change of scenery would be really good for them because they're a good team. And I think they'd fit in really well in NXT at the moment, actually.
I agree.
Yeah, and they get over really quickly. And I think they just need somewhere new where they can learn some different things and work with some different people. I think they're young still. You know, I think that this is a positive move for them, 100%. And Danhausen, man, like, he's had such a weird run in AEW. So he obviously had the Hook stuff, which I thought ruled. I thought it was tremendous fun.
I love that bit where he challenged Hook and someone put it to them my way.
Yeah.
You will fight, Danhausen.
He knocked his crisps out of his hands. And he had all that stuff and it was good. And he was on TV quite consistently. Then did he get injured?
I think so.
Yeah,
he disappeared for a long while.
Exactly. He was away for a while, and then they were building him up to bring him back on Halloween, and they just didn't do it. So they did these vignettes, little videos, Danhausen videos, and they just didn't do it. Then he went missing completely. Then they brought him back at Ring of Honor last year, and since then nothing. So his booking patterns are all over the shop. I don't understand why you would have somebody on your books who sells a lot of t-shirts.
Yep.
Is pretty easily marketable.
Always entertaining.
He's fun. He's like, a mid-card kind of character, but one that rules, it gets over. I don't understand why you wouldn't use him if you're paying him. It doesn't make any sense. However, I can't imagine that Danhausen is too worried. I think he probably cleans up at merch tables, man.
Yes.
Yeah, and he rules. I love Danhausen.
I think he's great, like you mentioned or you alluded to a chat we had with him, which also featured Brody King chopping Simon Miller in the chest. Check out the whole thing, including his big hat on the channel right now.
It's a real big hat.
It's very enjoyable from WrestleMania weekend. Like you say, probably a very successful weekend for Danhausen. I saw his vlog from then, and I know he's working lots of shows too. And yeah, Private Party. Yeah, I think it's best for everyone involved. Like you say, I think AEW are prioritising other tag teams, let's be honest, right about now. They'd kind of done everything they could do if that was the place they were going to be in. Very interested to see how WWE handles them. I think, like you say, I think they're both really talented. Love Mark Quinn. And yeah, whether it be NXT or they could just decide, because we talked a lot about how kind of what's going on with the Raw tag team division. If they just immediately popped up there, that could be interesting. But I think they would probably be an act that goes to NXT for a while at least. But they'd be, one of the most talented people there straight away in that tag division.
They're good. They're good.
Hank and Tank better be worried. But Danhausen, like WWE have clearly in recent months and years recognise the appeal of meme wrestlers, and that's sort of a backhanded compliment because I think Joe Hendry, Mr. Iguana, and Danhausen are all far better than just a meme. But like, they're a fun, entertaining act, like you say, that does great guns for whoever they work for. And I will say, I saw some people saying, "Oh God, WWE doing what AEW did and just signing everybody." Again, as we said with AEW when this was happening, it is a case-by-case basis. And I think you look at the people, and obviously, if Kenny Omega says, right, I don't want to face Okada at All In, I've decided I'm going to WWE, you wouldn't go, kind of full up, Ken. Sorry, pal.
Sorry, Kenny Omega. I don't want you.
Or if they can fill a role like Danhausen and Private Party can, that I don't think is being occupied right now, or just enhance the scene that already is really strong, then I don't see why not.
I personally don't care about you sign X whatever company. I don't care either way. I've never cared really. I think it's a lot of kerfuffle and nonsense, really. You sign people who think you can who can help you and benefit you. For Danhausen, I guess he's probably going to be there like, hey, I can do indies and like just sell like 400 t-shirts a night and be really successful. But then guaranteed contract it's like it's a totally different environment. So
once you get in that machine as well, it just takes you to a whole nother level.
Yeah, or you end up like Ludwig Kaiser pretending to be Grande Americano.
What? Is that who it is?
Yeah. Please don't do this. I hate this. This is my least favorite gimmick in all these people at the moment. They're like, oh, Ludwig Kaiser, Grande America. Chad Gable's injured, but what about Grande? Stop, please stop. I'm 37 years old. This is nonsense. Do not do this. Danhausen rules and Private Party are really good, and I think they just need a fresh place.
Yeah, I'd have Danhausen beat John Cena.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I don't have anyone beat John Cena at the moment, but still.
Curse his hairline, man. Just get rid of them plugs. Get rid of them plugs.
I was just thinking, you talking about Private Party going to NXT. Imagine after all the people he's run through, Obafemi's just like, well, I don't know what to do with Danhausen. I've been cursed.
Yeah. I think like some people, right, might look at WWE with maybe a bit more caution now, right?
I think so.
Because like, what is Rey Fenix doing? And it's like, it's all very well to sit there and go, oh yeah, but I'll be fine in a year. But right now, he's farts. He's not doing.
I think he finally won a tag match on SmackDown.
And even Penta's kind of like, okay, we're stagnating a little bit here. I don't think it's necessarily the golden ticket that it was.
No.
That roster's getting very
could
big.
Point to just like, look what we've done with Cody and Jade.
Yeah. But if you're Private Party, in particular, I think it's a no-brainer for them. So, yeah, cool. And I think Danhausen would get over to because he's fun.
And who knows, maybe they just fancy a trip to Saudi Arabia, because that's a segue into our second story with regards to WWE's future there. Obviously, we just had Night of Champions there, and Fightful on their Patreon reporting yet again that is WWE's only Saudi show this year. But that's only because 2026 is going to be a bumper year for WWE in Saudi Arabia. We already know, obviously, about the Royal Rumble. People have already started making their jokes about what the Women's Royal Rumble is going to look like over there in 2026. But also now reporting that there are going to be shows planned for May 2026 and November of 2026. Those eagle-eyed and awake people will realise that November is traditionally Survivor Series time. People have been talking about that. Now, of course, recently they've been doing it on Thanksgiving weekend. Fightful inquiring about that, basically saying they're either not going to do Survivor Series then, if it's on Thanksgiving weekend, or move weekends because they don't want talent going to Saudi for Thanksgiving, basically.
Yeah, spend it at home.
And they've given people time off after they came back from Saudi, didn't they? Hence why they did
a week.
The double taping, the Raw and SmackDown taping earlier on this week. But yes, 3 shows in Saudi Arabia next year, and potentially 2 of the big 4.
Yeah, the relationship's going nowhere. I think people...
They're going to re-up it, I reckon.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Saudi Arabian shows have already generated WWE 1.5 times as much revenue as every WrestleMania. Every WrestleMania. That's
50 million a shot, is it?
Yeah, it's a lucrative deal. And TKO Endeavor, whatever, is a cost-cutting, money-making, ruthless bugger of a machine. So, like, it doesn't matter what the reasons that people concoct and go, they should cancel it. Sometimes I agree. The 2018 incident and this year's incident was a bit dicey as well, of course. But that doesn't matter to them, is the core of this. It's all about the money. That's how they operate. That's their modus operandi. So free events, Rumble, obviously. I was watching, I saw clips on YouTube. I don't watch these shows. But I saw clips on YouTube on Twitter, of Rhea and Raquel. And it was like, you're both quite tall. You're both wearing black bodysuits and you both got black hair. I was like, what's going on here?
Spider-Man meme.
So we need a bit of bodysuits in the Women's Rumble. Bit of creativity would be
Jay
good.
looked great in her Storm outfit.
Get Tiffany in a pink gimmick.
Yeah.
Just lots of variety in colours and patterns and stuff would help a lot.
And maybe entrance themes I actually recognise.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a different issue. Sorry.
That's never changing.
But it's interesting to see how the relationship has changed with WWE in Saudi Arabia. I mean, like you say, they've sort of ploughed through these problematic times. I think it's not just a sports washing thing for Saudi Arabia. I think the fans, you look at the fans on Saturday, they were loving the show. The noise was incredible for that.
I would say the fans have absolutely nothing to do with it. I just don't think that's part of the equation with this. It is a sports washing thing. It's entirely a sports washing thing.
But it is interesting how they've developed it from just like here's our normal shows and here's the wacky Saudi show with DX and the Brothers of Destruction to now it being part of the
shows are better.
Yeah,
I would say. And look, if they were going, what's the name of the arena in Riyadh that they use? I'm not sure, but if they went, hello Riyadh Arena,
yes,
I'm WWE, I would like to book your venue for a show. And it was just like a private thing out with the arm of the, what's it called? The Sport Authority.
Yeah, Sports Authority, yeah.
Fine. Then you can talk about like satiating the fans, and it's great for the fans there. And look, the fans are really engaged.
Yeah.
But that's
first and foremost.
Yeah, that's not why they're going there. I hate it when the show comes up and people going, you're saying those fans don't deserve a show? No, every fan deserves live wrestling. But the circumstances under which these shows come together are that they are paid $50 million as part of a program to rehabilitate the image of a regime. People don't like me saying that. It's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
If you disagree, Google it. Just Google it. Look it up. It's right there. It's not hard.
That's why they do the boxing events there. It's why they do, everything.
Golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there golf there? I have no idea.
I think so. I think there's some big. I don't really pay attention to a lot of it.
Yeah.
But
look, if you want, like I keep saying over and over and over, it's very important to make the distinction. If you're just going and running shows there, no problem. Fill your boots. Let those fans enjoy the live wrestling. The circumstances of these shows are 100% sports washing.
Exactly. But very interesting that they may do Survivor Series because that is potentially one step closer to WrestleMania being there. I still think that's a way off yet.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just going to be in Vegas forever.
It's going to happen someday. Right, let's talk about new clash has been revealed between Tony Khan and a former employee in AEW. It's not a fight, don't worry. They didn't brawl. I think Tony Khan would have beaten the crap out of this dude. Rusev. Miro, the former Miro.
It would have been an interesting fight to see.
Yeah, he's a scary guy, Rusev. He's a big dude. But yeah, apparently...
Tom powering out of the accolade.
Yeah, just no-sells it. Why not? This is going to Dave on Wrestling Observer Radio. They had a clash over Miro then, his creative, when he was returning from injury in 2021, and apparently Miro just did not want to lose before leaving AEW, which might explain why he just wasn't booked for like 2 years.
Yes, back in Bulgaria or whatever the reports were at the time.
Making TV, hanging out, shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
A couple of guys that were up to no good. It was Tony and Jungle Boy somehow. I don't know, can we get him in the equation? But yeah, so he didn't want to lose apparently on his way out. I'm in favour of going out on your back, personally. I think that there's a right way of doing it. Mariah May did things to perfection.
Yes.
She went out on the big blow-off match. The end, coming up on the screen.
That was
kind of perfect. So yeah, look, people make choices. We're not privy to all the backstage details on these things, but I don't think it's a good look to say he didn't want to lose.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a great surprise to hear this being reported, is it? Let's be honest. I think the exact details were always something that we're a bit vague on, and I don't think we ever, with these sort of things, will get the true reflection of what actually happened. But yeah, the way it went with him, with how well they pushed Miro and what he was able to do in the early days of AEW, just suddenly being like, where is he? What's going on? He's been missing. Injuries are injuries, but this obviously was a lot more than that. And at the end of the day, it was just never going to work, was it? It always seemed for quite some time like he was going to be heading out the door because of the rumoured difficulties in terms of like wrestlers will perceive themselves in a certain way and bookers will want to book people in a certain way. And if those two things don't align or can't be worked out, then you're kind of at a impasse, aren't you? Yeah.
And it was for the best.
Yeah, I think so. Really enjoyed his match with Sheamus on Monday.
It was really good.
I'm excited to see what they do with Rusev. I sort of had a bit of an argument, a very, civilized argument with Hamflett on the podcast the other day, because he said, they've kind of done nothing with it. And I was like, I think that was by intention. I think they wanted to have the big fanfare of
on purpose.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do the big fanfare of him on the Raw after WrestleMania. But they also thought, well, we can't push him super hard straight away, because then he'd have to be in Money in the Bank, and he's not winning Money in the Bank. I feel like now they're starting to ramp it up with the Sheamus matches. In the interim, yeah, I would have done it a lot better. I would have just have him, beat local competitors or whatever, not just not wrestle or fight poor Akira Tozawa every week. But yeah, I think, like you say, the writing was on the wall when it comes to his booking in AEW. If someone says, I'm not going to lose, and you say, well, I've booked you tonight to lose, what do you do? Because I'm not saying he would have gone into business for himself, but if they don't want to do what you want them to do, you're kind of stuck.
I would say, like,
Can't go out there and wrestle for him.
Yeah, exactly.
But if he doesn't want to do that, that's him protecting his place in the roster. That's kind of fair enough.
But also,
as well.
you can't refuse to do business.
Can
you? I would have let him go. I would have just said, okay.
I'd have kicked his ass. That's what I'd have done.
Beating him up. I would have said, okay, this isn't going to work. Would you like to be let go from your contract? I would have just done that.
Yeah.
Maybe they did, and
it's
maybe
not going to change after 6 months, is it?
Yeah. Maybe Miro didn't want to be let go from his contract. Maybe he I can't imagine he wanted to be shelved for a year, 2 years. I would have said,
Bulgaria's lovely, but
I would have said, hey, it's not going to work. Off you
Bulgaria? I've done loads of random European holidays. I don't think I've done Bulgaria.
I've not done Bulgaria. Sunny Beach, that's where all the Brits go, isn't it?
Hang out with Uncle Bulgaria?
Yeah. The S, he's always there.
He's there, he's either underground or overground. He's wobbling free, that's for sure.
Krasimir Balakov, he's there. All these guys. Dimitar Vitov.
What's the worst part? I did go to Bulgaria, and I was like, where's Uncle Bulgaria? And they was like, Wimbledon Common. I was like, oh,
gosh. You can get there on the tube. Yeah, he took a flight.
See, you get your news and callbacks
to the Wombles. Wimbling.
Where else do you get this?
Wobbling free.
Shout out to AFC Wimbledon.
Yep. Yes. And to hell with Milton Keynes Dons.
Yeah.
Burn it down. Don't commit crimes. Jeez.
Some lovely roundabouts there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Swindon mega roundabout.
A man who's probably missing the roundabouts is Will Ospreay. You
know
why? Because he's always in the bloody air. This is insane. You've probably seen this tweet doing the rounds because it's bonkers. We're only halfway through 2025. This is from Will's tweet. And he's updated us on how much he has been travelling for AEW. He says, this is flight number 68, almost nice, this year. Time I've spent on an aeroplane total so far, 397 hours and 22 minutes. I did a bit of Googling on this. That's over 16 days of this year he spent on an aeroplane. Every day I'm super grateful to be living this life and performing the greatest wrestling fans in the world. Thank you, AEW, he says. Look, we get to travel occasionally for work, right? And we have long trips to like America and stuff like that. And I kind of enjoy it. Like, it's fun to like be on a long flight and be like, oh, what film are you watching, Andy? Or what do you reckon to the plane food? After a while, I kind of get sick of it. And that's like probably 2 or 3 days a year.
Yeah.
This man is going back and forth, spending time, as he often says, away from his family. Because, and also, fair enough this, I always get annoyed when people go, well, why don't you just relocate? Oh, just pick up your entire family and relocate to an entire new continent, is it? Is that simple? No, it doesn't work like that. Yes. But Will has been incredibly committed to AEW. We know from personal experience the amount of work he puts into his wrestling. He's been phenomenal for AEW, not just this year, but ever since he's joined them, basically. But my word, over 16 days on an airplane, back and forth. Fair play to him.
Yeah,
and it's only going to get more, I sense.
Absolutely. One of the key things with him signing with AEW was that he could still live in the UK. He didn't want to move to the USA.
Gunther didn't do the big jump to proper WWE for quite some time because of that exact reason.
Exactly. So that was one of the factors for him. He said that before.
Yeah.
So when people say, "Oh, just move," it's like you're defeating. You're bypassing the entire reason or one of them. That I'm sure there are other reasons, but like
it's hard enough moving to a different city in the UK. Yeah. Like if I suddenly went right, I'm off to Sheffield.
Yeah.
Then that'd be a bit of an upheaval. An entirely new continent with visas and all that nonsense.
And he just built he refitted his kitchen and everything.
Yeah, come on, he's got a new kitchen.
Yeah, you don't move away from a refitted kitchen. So. Shoutouts to Will. That's a heavy travel schedule. I'm sure he has his routines to make it easier. Overnight flights are a cheat code. You go to sleep in one city, you wake up in another. I love it.
I can't sleep on planes.
Get the old, you're cursed. You're absolutely cursed.
The flight there's always fine because we kind of take off and land on the same day, just a little bit later on. Just a long day, basically.
Yeah.
Flight back, I am ruined.
Yeah. I like an overnight. I put my mask on. I put my headphones on. I'm in a different world. You're not bothering me. If you do bother me,
I try to, yeah.
If you do
Andy,
bother me,
Andy, you seen this? Andy.
Yeah, if you did
Wake
that,
up, Andy.
I'd Batista bomb you through the...
I've sent you a message on the airplane. Andy.
Yeah, do you want to play pool on the airplane machine?
I do like a little bit of the poker on there against the cartoon characters.
Yeah, you can...
Damn you, cowboy!
Sometimes choose a random seat to harass.
Yeah.
If I see Will Ospreay on a plane, I'm playing pool with him on the...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Balatro, that's a good travel hack. Get Balatro. You can get it on your phone.
What game's that?
It's great. It's the car game that won all the Game of the Year awards last year. It's really good.
Well, I've just finished Spider-Man, so maybe I've got a new game to crack on.
Good grief. Good grief. Anyway, let us know your travel hacks in the comment section below.
And if you want to know the real reason why AEW All In isn't at Wembley this year, we'll tell you later on today.
It's yellow, like the arrow.
Good tease!
50 fascinating facts from WWE in the 1980s right here. Crazy list.
Check it out.
See you later.
Bye.